feel comfortable getting in here for me, just step in the car. You guys buckle up for me.
Oh, yeah.
Capsizes will be struggling.
So thanks for joining us today, Mark. So first of all, can I ask you to introduce yourself about what it is you do at Amazon?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Mark Sales. I'm a specialist solutions architect for AWS, and I specialize in Amazon's serverless services, so API Gateway, Lambda, SNS, SQS, things like that. Yeah. And I work with our customers to help them adopt serverless and basically achieve whatever they want to achieve in their business.
Yeah, cool. So we're here today to discuss one particular feature announcement, that's Snapstart. So what can you tell us about it? What problems does it solve, and how does it achieve that?
Sure. So Lambda Snapstart was released on Monday night in Peter's keynote, and it allows customers to achieve up to 10 times faster cold starts when they're using the Java 11 runtime. This is really cool piece of technology because people want to build highly scalable, responsive functions, but with Java they've had difficulty doing that because of the cold starts. Sure. So if you bring a Spring Boot application, which might be some sort of REST API or backend API, then you can get up to 5 or 6 seconds cold starts, and that's really restrictive to what sort of workloads you can do.
Sure.
So with this, we are now able to snapshot your Lambda function after it's been initialized.
Yeah.
And we store that encrypted in our own data store. And then any future execution environments that you want to start for that function will be resumed from a snapshot instead of a cold start. So you get much faster resumes and you get much faster responses when you're scaling up.
Awesome, thank you. So what runtimes are supported at the moment? Is it just Java?
So it's just Java, and it's just Java 11 at the moment. Okay. So unfortunately, if you're using Java 8, we'd hope that you can upgrade to 11. And in the future, Java 17 will support Snapstart, but unfortunately that isn't available today. So
sure.
Yeah, just hold on.
No problem. Okay, cool. Next, are there any gotchas or limitations that customers should be aware of?
Yeah, so for the majority of use cases, this will just be a feature that people enable. But the sort of things that you should be considering is like if you're connecting to a database and you've got a TCP connection, if you're making that connection in the init phase, then that will be snapshotted and that will be stored. And when you make a resume, when you start a new execution environment, the Lambda function is going to think that it has an open network connection, and that isn't going to be the case.
Yeah.
So the majority of modern libraries will understand that connection has gone stale and will retry.
Sure.
So it's just something to be aware of, that if you see in your logs, a failed connection error, it'll probably be followed by a reconnect.
Okay.
But that's the sort of thing that I would look out for. Double check that your libraries can retry on failures, or
Sure.
make sure that if you're making persistent connections, that you have failback logic. And this isn't really a new problem either. That could have happened before Snapstart.
Yeah.
Network connections fail and go stale for other reasons.
Yeah.
But this is a new way that it can happen.
Yeah,
so
sure.
It's good to be aware of. The other one that I would call out specifically is randomness and uniqueness. So obviously we're creating a whole bunch of new environments from the same snapshot, and you might think that random numbers would have the same seed, and that isn't the case. So we've put in a lot of work to make sure that cryptographically secure functionality from Amazon Linux and OpenSSL and the Java runtime are all very much aware of snapshotting.
Sure.
And continue to work as expected.
Okay.
So if you're using functionality like Java util random, that isn't cryptographically secure.
Okay.
So you can't use that in the same way, and that will have the same seed. So if you're using that for cryptographic workloads, that's not advised, and that's an anti-pattern.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks very much for that. And finally, so in containers we have the public roadmap. Is there a similar roadmap for Lambda, or the features that we've seen, such as Snapstart, that we
No.
can track?
No, unfortunately there isn't, and I really like the containers roadmap,
Sure.
and I'll pass that back to the Lambda team that
Yeah.
people would like to see that, but unfortunately that isn't something that's available at the moment.
Sure, because we'll have customers who are looking forward to their runtimes being supported by Snapstart, right?
Yeah, so we've had some really good feedback about customers who are using Python to do sort of ML workloads, and they would really like to use Snapstart to download models, have
Yeah.
them snapshotted, and then resume fairly large files. So that's all a lot faster.
Yeah.
I can really see that being a really cool thing that we could do. So
Yeah.
hopefully that will come in the future.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much for your time today.
No worries,
Appreciate it.
thank
Very much, man.
Are you a celebrity that I don't know?
Yes. He's really famous.
Somewhere that's gonna be on the cloud somewhere forever, right?
Yeah.
Bloody picture.